Hello and welcome back to another episode of LMS Cast. My name is Chris Badgett, and I'm joined today with Allie Mathis from the LifterLMS and Codebox team. How you doing, Allie?
Great. How are you today, Chris?
Excellent. We're going
Good.
to be talking about a really cool subject, which has to do with the LifterLMS dollar trial, what to do with it once you try it out, and kind of the story around where it came from and what problems it solves. So, just to kind of talk about it in general terms, if you're listening to this podcast, you're interested in creating and selling courses online. If you're like most people out there, it's literally overwhelming when you start researching LMS software tools, what you can do inside of WordPress. And eventually, after you make the decision to go with Lifter LMS, or maybe you haven't yet, you want to try it out, we wanted to make that easy for you. And that's where the Lifter LMS try for a dollar offer came from. And it also comes from a place of some people, when they come to Lifter LMS, they're not even familiar with WordPress yet. So the dollar trial is a great way to kind of get in there. You get a temporary website that you can play around with all the fancy advanced add-ons and tools that Lifter provides, and really have that opportunity to try before you buy, or just take it for a test drive. But I'll hand it over to you, Ali. What is the dollar trial offer? Like, what do people get?
When you purchase a dollar trial within one business day, we set up a site for you that you have access to and you're an administrator on. And I believe, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I believe there's something like 8 trial courses that are set up on there. Do you remember, Chris? Is it 8?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So there's a bunch of different trial courses set up on there, and the site's basically all ready for you to go. I send you through some logins, and you can hop online, and the front end is already styled with our branding, but you can get in there right away and start playing with the theme Launchpad, and adding your own branding and styling assets. And then more importantly, just really getting in there and using Lifter LMS. I am a very hands-on person, so you can talk to me for an hour about something, but I can learn it a lot faster if I just get in there for 10 minutes and play with it myself. So that's really what the dollar trial was born out of. I mean, you can read all about how awesome Lifter LMS is. You can talk to other users, but I firmly believe you learn more by just using it yourself and through trial and error. So that's really what it is. So you get a fully functioning website. It's not on your own domain. We have our own domain set up on WP Engine that we use to build these trial sites on. And then at the end of the 30 days, you can choose to claim your site and keep all the things that you've worked on, if you like, and we transfer it over to your own hosting account on WP Engine for you. Or maybe at the end of the 30 days, you decide, like, I really love Lifter LMS, but I don't really want to do it myself. So then we have other options for you where are done for you services where uh, you can basically hire us to build your site for you. Or maybe you've decided, like, I really love this, but I want to do it myself from scratch, and then you can just go buy our Universe bundle or download our free WordPress plugin or buy any of the add-ons that you want. So it's really just sort of like a gateway that gives you a lot of different opportunities.
Yeah. So in the past, if you're on the Lifter LMS website and you go up to the main menu and you click on the demo button, that goes to some demo courses, and you can watch courses about building courses with Lifter, which is a little meta and kind of confusing. But you can't really get into the back end. You can't experience Lifter as a website owner who's logging in to view reporting, start building courses. You can't really see what that's like until you start using the tool, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to give you a way to not just look at a demo and watch videos about using the course, but like Ali said, get your hands in there and actually start looking in the back end of some sample courses, or starting to create courses of your own, or working in the Launchpad theme settings and putting your logo in there, and changing the colors. You can even start building your own course or memberships. And, one of the cool things about it, like Ali was saying, at the end of your trial or during your trial, you can also decide to keep your site. We call that claim my site. So there's a claim my site offer where we'll actually take your trial site and transfer it over to you so that you can own it and keep going. And that also comes with a year of the Universe Bundle suite of add-on tools that you can, that's just included in the package. Or like Ali said, you could just let your trial site kind of automatically dissolve after the time period that the temporary trial is set up and just start over from scratch. But you also have this option to keep your site, or what we like to call claim my site. Mm-hmm. But how else would you describe the claim my site offer, Ali?
Well, Chris, if I can go back for a minute, I was thinking about my first experience using WordPress years ago. I was tasked with putting together a website for our school parent-teacher organization, and I didn't have a lot of experience with WordPress at the time. So figuring out, hosting and where do I even start from was really, really overwhelming to me. I ended up using a similar service, but for school PTO websites, which is, a different machine, but where I basically had a templated site built for me, and I was able to just go in there and sort of customize it for my own school needs. And I didn't have to worry about figuring out setting up hosting and stuff. And it was a really great, gateway into WordPress, and really easy way to get a website off the ground quickly when you need that. Because oftentimes when you want to build a website, you don't really have 4 months lead time to learn how to become a WordPress expert, right? It's just like all of a sudden you need a website, or you have a class, in the case of LifterLMS, you have a course that you want to get out there. So, your students can start, benefiting from your experience. And so this is a really good way to take some of the technical pressure off yourself.
Absolutely. And I like to frame that in a particular way with in terms of how you think about it, because you can be a DIY person, a do-it-yourself person, in which case you just let your trial expire, and then you go, if you want to keep going with Lifter, you go get the LifterLMS plugin, whatever add-ons you need, potentially a bundle, and you build it yourself. You're a do-it-yourself DIY person. Ali also mentioned earlier the done-for-you option that we have at LifterLMS, where the LifterLMS team, there's different levels, there's 4 different packages we offer where we basically do it all for you. But in the middle, there's this area that I like to call done with you. So when you do the claim my site option and you do the $1 trial, we're both, the LifterLMS team and you, are working together for the common goal. So you get the $1 trial temporary site set up. We do that for you basically, and then you can go customize it, and then you can flip it back to us through the claim my site offer, and then we will transfer that over to you. So it's more of a hybrid approach. You're not really a do-it-yourselfer, but perhaps the done for you isn't the fit for what you need. You're kind of in the middle in the claim my site opportunity there. So
it's a great offer. It's a lot of added value, and just in the peace of mind that you have the site that was started for you, and you just need to let us click a few buttons and we can hand it over to you, and you're ready to go. So
yeah, and that's one of the things. It's one of the challenges with WordPress and the learning curve. For someone who's not familiar with it, if you decide you want to use Lifter, and then you have to download a bunch of plugins and themes and get WordPress set up and install these zip files, it's a lot of steps that, if you're new, can be a little challenging, or you just haven't gone through the learning curve yet. So you can just skip all that if you don't want to do the installing of plugins and themes and getting your hosting all ready for WordPress and all these things. The $1 trial and the claim my site option gives you a starting point that's much further along. You're not just buying all these zip files and software. You're getting all that stuff already installed with sample content ready to go, ready to start building. So that's what, it's just a question of asking you yourself, like, what's the best fit for you? And if you look at the claim my site offer, it's a little bit more than the cost of the universe bundle by itself. But the reason for that is that covers the transfer process that we implement to move everything over to your hosting. So that's
Right.
kind of where
And
that sits.
yeah, beyond just the cost of the transfer process, it's really just the value of having a website that's ready to go for you.
Yeah, it's all about that starting point. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, your starting point is like way back here. If you're
Right.
a claim my site person, you're very far along. And if you're a done for you person, you're at the launch, like you're ready to roll. So it's just a question of like, what is your budget and what is the starting point that you would like to go to. And if you're not already familiar with WordPress and you don't have a bunch of time to learn how to work with it, and you want to accelerate that starting line, that dollar trial on the Claim My Site is a good option for you.
Mhm.
So we also, with the Claim My Site option, we send the transfer to your WP Engine hosting account. I want to talk a little bit about why we love WP Engine. Everything you see at
Mhm.
lifterlms.com is, we have many, many websites. It's all WP Engine. We love it. It's not the cheapest kit on the block, but the things you get with it are phenomenal. And what I found out as just a regular WordPress user myself is it actually is cheaper, because for some other projects I had actually on Bluehost, I had to buy all these extra services like for security and backups and things that is actually just included with WP Engine. So in the end, I was actually paying more for cheaper hosting, which I know
Mhm.
sounds funny, but WP Engine, all the out of the box security and firewall traffic, quality and the backup system, the staging environment, the customer support. I've never experienced such quality customer support from WP Engine. Their chat support is amazing. When you call them on the phone, they work through it. So it's just the best WordPress hosting, in my opinion, out there.
Yeah, it's
So
it's
what do you
excellent.
like about it?
Um, I l- so I always like to tell Chris I'm not a server admin, and sometimes working with hosting is not my favorite thing. But I will say that I truly do really like WP Engine because they make it so easy. I don't think I've ever had to wait more than 5 minutes to get a live person on chat support, which is rare. If you use some of the less expensive hosting companies, um, a lot of them don't even have live chat support. Another really great thing that's easy to do on WP Engine is set up your SSL certificate.
Yep.
So that's something that you're going to want if you have any sort of, I mean, you'll probably want it regardless, but particularly if you're selling your course and have any sort of, you know, um, financial transactions, it takes about 30 seconds and clicking two buttons to get a free SSL certificate installed using WP Engine. Um, and they'll help you, configure your domain name. So a lot of people ask me like, well, my website is, learnhowtocook.com, and that's the domain name I've purchased. But the trial site is, whatever, a different name at wpengine.com. How do I make those two things work? How do I make the trial site, when somebody types in the URL that I want them to, how does that end up going to the trial site? And the team at WP Engine is great at helping you, fill in a few fields and get that up and running really quickly. So they make that part of it super easy and painless. And I feel my experience, we've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different hosting companies and observe people's issues with a lot of different hosting companies. And my experience with WP Engine has always been positive. I've seen some other hosts not be on like the current version of PHP, which can cause conflicts. Lifter LMS requires a version of PHP 5.6 or greater, um, which is not unreasonable, but some of the cheaper and less expensive hosts, aren't automatically there, and WP Engine is. So Those are the few things that stand out to me.
Yeah, and just while we're on the topic of speed, WP Engine actually is on PHP version 7 now, which is super fast. Lifter LMS is fully compatible with PHP 7. If you care about speed, I'd highly recommend getting on web hosting that has that level of PHP. So if all this sounds interesting to you and you haven't done it yet, or you're still in that research phase, which I fully respect, check out Lifter, check out the other options out there in the WordPress ecosystem, check out hosted solutions. But if you're getting to that point where you want to do some real due diligence on Lifter, or really want to take it for a test drive before you buy, head on over to the Lifter LMS website. You can see on the homepage a link to the try for $1. There's a button there where you can set that, invest in that. It's just $1, and then
Yeah,
you
it's
can.
no gimmicks, no, it's not a trap. It, it almost sounds too good to be true in a way, but
Yeah, and the reason it's $1, we thought about doing it for free, but there is some overhead for us in terms of hosting it and setting everything up, and we just needed to make sure that people were fairly serious and at least researching what was going on, just to cover the costs of being able to provide that dollar trial experience for you. But I highly recommend that you check it out, and once you buy the product, it takes up to 1 business day, and we'll basically be sending you an email with a link to your new website that you can try out and log in, so that you can't just look and click around on the front end, but you can actually get into the back end and take Lifter LMS for a test drive. So thank you, Allie. Thank
thanks,
you
Chris.
for yeah, it was a lot of fun. If anybody has any questions about the try for $1, if you scroll down to the bottom of the Lifter LMS website, there's a contact form there. Just shoot those questions across. If you have any question, if you are in the try Lifter LMS for $1 and you'd like to claim your site and have us transfer it over for you, there's a big claim my site button there inside of your dollar trial website. That when you click that, that's what you're buying. You're getting a year worth of the Universe bundle, and you're also getting us moving that over to your account, to your hosting. So thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day.
Bye, Chris.